This is Britt Caswell with another example video. In today's video, I'm covering Example 3 from Section 1-4 in the SavvasRealize Algebra 1 textbook. Today's video is about how to rewrite a formula. Right now they're doing it with, numbers in mind. So what Savvas wants us to do is they want us to first take a formula and use it to solve for a variable. And then they want us to plug in the numbers and solve it again. Alright? Now this feels like it's extra work. I recognize that. However, being able to rewrite a formula will make it to where you can generate a number sequence that can be plugged into a calculator. And so that's why it's important to do this first step, even though it seems redundant when you go to solve. Alright? So it says a worker at a framing store is making a rectangular frame, which you see there on the left. He knows that the perimeter of the frame is 144 inches and that the length is 40 inches. And they want to determine how to find the width of the frame. So the first thing is that we're going to start with the perimeter formula. It says that the perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And because he's asking about the width, we're going to try to get the W by itself. So remember, to help me maintain balance, I'm going to go ahead and just draw this little river here. And if I do something on the right-hand side, I need to make sure to do it to the left-hand side as well. So starting to look at this, I see that the 2W is being added with the 2L. So I'm going to subtract 2L from each side so that the W doesn't have any other letters with it. So on the left-hand side, I get the perimeter minus twice the length, and on the right-hand side, I'm left with twice the width. And then the second part of this, right, the 2 and the W, since they're touching, are multiplying to each other. And so to counteract that multiplication, I'm going to divide by 2. And what you do to one side of the equation, you have to make sure to do it to the other side. Which, I didn't leave myself much room here, but use your imagination, kids. So the perimeter minus 2L divided by 2 is equal to W. That's the equation that we're going to use here. So now step 2 is saying to use the equation that you just got and start plugging in the values that we get. Alright? I generally like to keep the letter I'm solving for on the left, so I'm just going to flop that over. So I have the width equals the perimeter, which is 144, minus 2 times my W, or 2 times my length. Now the length here is 40, it says. And all of that, according to my formula, is divided by 2. So I just took the P and substituted the 144, and I took the L and substituted the 40. And now this is something that many calculators can solve, although I'll warn you, alright, calculators all work differently. A TI-82 works different from a TI-84. It works different from, a Casio, which works different. I mean, they're all different from each other. It works different than Desmos. So here where you're doing the practice to learn this, make sure that you're using whatever calculator you would normally use on an assessment, because you have to figure out how the coding to your specific calculator will allow you to simplify this. Now, I grew up in the age where calculators were frowned upon. So I'm going to solve this without a calculator so that you could see what steps there are. Alright, so this is acting like a big old grouping symbol, the fraction bar is, so I'm going to start simplifying up here. Now, I can't subtract the 2 from the 144 because it's being multiplied by 40. So I'm going to take 2 and 40 and multiply those together to get 80. Now I could subtract that. 144 minus 80 is 64. And if I divide that by 2, I get 32 inches. And that's the answer to that. I guess I could box it. Alright, so then let's try it with the try it. I'm going to zoom in just because it's a little tiny. So it says, write the formula for the area of a triangle in terms of the height. Alright, and then it wants you to actually solve for the height. Alright, so here on the left I'm going to do that first step. So here's my equation. Alright, I'm remembering that I'm going to be trying to cross this little river. So when I look at the height here, I see the fraction, and most people find fractions super intimidating. So what I'm going to do to remove the fraction is I'm multiplying by whatever value is there in the bottom. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 2, because half of 2 is 1, and the fraction goes bye-bye, it goes memes. So on the left-hand side I have 2 times a, and on the right-hand side, the 1/2 and the 2 cancel out, leaving me with a BH. Now remember, when two letters or a letter or a number are touching, that's multiplication. And so the inverse operation of multiplication is to divide. So I'm just dividing both sides of the equation by b, so that h will be left alone. So there's the formula, all right? Now that I know the equation to find h, now I'm going to plug in an 18 where the a is. Notice that I'm using parentheses when I substitute it in there. And where the b is, I put a 9, which should be in parentheses, but that's not going to do anything because it's just a 9 chilling there. Usually, if you want to substitute something in, you probably want to use parentheses. All right. In this case, because it shows for the multiplication. But if you have negatives and you don't substitute with parentheses, that's what starts to make things look a little yucky. So just kind of be careful there. All right, so 2 times 18 is 36, and 36/9 is 4. So the height here for a triangle that has the area of 18 inches and a base of 9 inches would be 4 inches. Alrighty friends, so there we have it. That is how to rewrite a formula. Until next time.